Alright, welcome back to the SciMax channel. Today I'm going to show you a couple of big enhancements I've made in litdb for chat GPT type interactions. So previously we had a GPT function and it used Ollama generate, so it would just generate one shot with RAG, retrieval augmented generation. Let me start out just by showing you what litdb I'm working with. This is my main one that I use all the time. So it's kind of large. It has 72,000 sources and it's about 7 gigabytes in size. So it has a lot of papers. I followed 100 plus people, gathered references, citations, related articles for lots of those articles. And I've just done lots of literature searches with it. So let me show you the new litdb GPT. So we just started with that, and this is running on an M4 Pro. It's a pretty new Mac, 64 gigabytes of RAM, 2 terabyte hard drive. So it's a pretty powerful machine to do what we're doing. Now, what you saw before was really slow because I would use generate and just wait for the whole thing to be done and then show it to you. So there was lots and lots of wait time while you wondered if anything was even happening. So let's start out with something that I know a lot about and say, let's say explain the main features of electronic structure in single atom alloys. Now behind the scene it takes that prompt, encodes it into an embedding vector, looks up finds the 3 nearest papers in the database, and then in a few minutes it'll start streaming out the response and we'll see where it goes. Alright, so it's already started. You can see this is the speed. This is why it takes a while. It starts looking up. After it looks up the 3 articles, it gets just the title and abstract is actually all that it's working with in this. It puts that as context into the GPT. I'm using Llama 3.3, by the way. It's quite a large model. It's about, I want to say 49 or 50 gigabyte download. And it's running on silicon metal on the M4 right now. So if you don't have a large amount of RAM, you won't be able to use Llama 3.3. The default's Llama 2. It's just not as big. Okay, and then it shows me these articles that it was retrieved from. And you might want to read these. I want to show you now. Let's say I don't know if that's a good one. Let's take this one. I'm going to copy that, and you can do a couple of things here. So I'm just going to use the right angle bracket, and say litdb add this DOI -- references. And this is going to kind of independently just get those references for me without disrupting the GPT conversation. So now we just have to wait. I don't know how many it's going to get, only 33. So the conversation is just on pause right now. The little right angle bracket here is just a special kind of feature of the prompt that I wrote into this. What that's going to allow me to do is ask the question again, and maybe it will find more related articles based on that. And while that's running, I'm going to just double click on this and see what it is. It looks like you can see here the electronic structure of disordered alloys with or without surface. Doesn't seem unrelated. Okay, we're going to, then I can just use the up arrow. I have read line enabled. Let's just try this question again, and we'll see if anything new comes up. anymore. I can type Control-C and get out of it. You can also type 'help, and it'll give us all of the options that we have. So I showed you this one where we can add a DOI. We can do any shell command you want there. We can also use the other left bracket and then capture the output and use it for the next prompt. So let's do right angle bracket first and say cat litdb.org. This is a file I have, you don't. And it just has this text here about my opinion of litdb. So I want to use that as rag for the GPT. And so now I'm going to do left bracket cat litdb.org, and that's going to take the contents of that file and put it into the context for the GPT. And now I can ask, what does John think about litdb? Sorry for the coughing. And in theory, it should give us something related to this text. Now here I'm just catting a file, but you can use any command that generates text. So you could do PDF to text, or some kind of thing that converts. Even Pandoc might work. If you want to convert a Word file or something into text, then you could just have the clever incantation of Pandoc. And as long as it outputs text to standard out, then it'll get captured. So that's kind of nice. Let's try another question. Are single atom alloys like gas phase atoms? I'm not super sure that it should be able to answer this just from titles and abstracts. But I think I wrote a paper along those lines. And I know other people have written papers along those lines. Back to this left bracket, you can also use this with a full text search or other litdb commands. So if you wanted to, instead of doing vector search, use a full text search or hybrid search, you could use some kind of like grep, any shell commands that lead to a string of text, make it become searchable. So that does answer the question, so it does tell me that. That's pretty good. The last thing maybe I'll show you is that, let's go back to our help. There is an option to save this chat to a file. So we just say !save, and you can see there's also a restart if you feel like getting rid of all that history. But here I'll just say !save, and it'll ask me for a file name. Chat.txt is okay, and then I'll just Control D to quit. And let's have a look at chat.txt. So here we have sort of the whole history of how this works. These are the system prompt that we started with. This is what we give it as a system for the RAG. Then we have the user, that's me asking a question. This is what the assistant answers, like so. And you could go through and read this in your favorite editor or something else. So that's more or less the cool new capability of litdb GPT. You can chat with your database. You can help it get bigger. You can feed all kinds of things into it through this kind of cool little syntax that I made for the prompt, and it's otherwise a new way. Otherwise I'd be here like litdb vsearch electronic structure of single atom alloy like this, and then this is going to just embed that that prompt and print out 3 of those papers, and then I just have to read these now. Now this is obviously a lot faster than doing the GPT, but also this you then have to read through this instead of reading the GPT. Now once you get the GPT, that might just sort of help you get to the right part of the literature that you want to read, and in reading these you might come up with an even better prompt or a better question to ask. We could also do litdb full text single atom alloy. This is literally searching for single atom alloy and finds just these ones. And then there's, let's see, then there's a hybrid one. Let's see if I don't remember exactly how it goes. The hybrid, you specify a vector search term and a full text search term, and this is why the GPT interface is nice. You don't have to remember all of these hybrid search. Alright, so we have to do vector query, text query. Electronic structure. Single atom alloys, and maybe we'll just add SAA because I know that's in there and I don't want to miss those, and that's a word that is not likely to be caught up in a vector search. No. Looks like there's an error. Let's try it again and debug it. This is supposed to be -1. Yeah, I changed something in the full text earlier. Yeah, okay. I'll go ahead and fix and push that. So this is just another option that you can use for search. All right, well, thanks for your patience on the debug there. It's truly the best way to find a bug is do something in public and make sure everybody in the world can see it. Okay, so maybe for fun, I'm just going to copy this, and let's go back to litdb GPT. And I'm going to use left angle, paste that command in. That's going to take all of that text and put it onto the context for RAG. And now I should be able to say, explain what you know about, I see we have a SAA, which is sample average approximation. Not a single atom alloy, but I'm going to pick that anyway and see what happens. I do that a lot with GPT. You try something and see what happens. I guess it seems faster when you use some cloud API because there's like massive GPUs and maybe parallel GPUs running. But that's expensive, and you have to send your stuff out to the cloud. The M4 Pro wasn't actually cheap. It generally works pretty well. So yeah, it looks like it is just lightly manipulating this text up here. So it looks like this output is mostly markdown. Nice if I could tell it to use something like org mode. Cool. Okay, that's it. Again, we just Control C or Control D to quit. And with this new feature, you can chat with your litdb, you can inject text to help explain something. You could use it for a new document, for example. I'm not super sure how well it works for very, very long documents. I don't do any fancy chunking or anything like that. So if it's too long, probably some of it will get ignored if Ollama doesn't have some cleverness baked in for really long messages. But otherwise, it's been pretty good, and this new streaming feature certainly makes it look more like what other ChatGPT things are doing. So you can find litdb on GitHub. The link is in the video. If you like this video, give it a like, subscribe, and try out litdb. You will probably find that it's pretty useful. Thanks.